Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. Today we have Trey Morgan, all the way from US, with us. I know Trey for a very long time, and he's an amazing coach. And yeah, Trey, please introduce yourself and your great business, please.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Tony, for having me, my brother. Yeah, we go way back. You helped me get my business started. I really appreciate that. You know, it helped me get my first couple clients, and I've been able to keep it going. So I appreciate that. And yeah, so I'm basically a confidence and masculinity coach for men, and I help men approach and attract women naturally and authentically. I help them get away from playing games and being manipulative and just express their raw masculinity and attract women by being clear in what they want and overcoming the fear of rejection. You know, being okay with going out there, knowing that some women are going to match their vibe, match their frequency, and some women are not. But they have to put themselves out there and they have to become the type of man who can communicate what he wants and set boundaries and have values and know exactly what he wants so he can attract the right women, the right woman, and the right relationships.
Yeah, totally. And so in terms of the business, like, what inspired you to actually start this type of business?
Yeah, so I used to be very shy, very insecure. Even though I was always so I'm in great shape. I was always in great shape. I was always physically active and I'm 6'2", so I had these things going for me, but internally I was insecure. I was shy. I was afraid to express myself. I wasn't owning my sexuality. So even though I had on the outside I had some physical traits that were attractive, I was having a hard time attracting women because once they came and checked my character and my personality and my masculinity, it wasn't there. You know, I wasn't able to show up in an attractive way, and so they would lose interest. And so I got tired of that, and I started working on myself. I improved my confidence, my self-esteem, and I was able to approach women and attract women for myself. And then I saw that this was something that other men were struggling with. So I opened up. I shared my story how I was a 24-year-old virgin. I didn't get my first kiss until 24, so I was a late bloomer. And because I share the story, other men are like, "Oh, really?" And they open up and tell me what they're going through, and so I can help them. So yeah, I'm very this is my passion because I know what it's like to struggle in this area, and I know what it's like to overcome the challenges. So I'm very motivated and inspired to help other men with this.
And what's some of the benefits? What are some of the benefits for people when they're working when they're working with you?
Oh man, so many benefits. Their confidence goes up. They learn to own their sexuality, so they become more sexually free. They know what it feels like to be a man. You know, they learn to own their masculinity, what it means to be assertive, what it means to be courageous, bold, have values and principles that they stand by, a firm, backbone, you know what I mean? Have some balls. Like they get back in touch with being a man. So those are like some of the main core benefits, but also being able to approach the woman that you find attractive. Instead of waiting for the girl to show up, you can go and approach her. You can express yourself. You can tell her that you find her attractive instead of beating around the bush. You start developing all these attractive qualities, so you become like a king in your life, a king that can create the results he wants instead of hoping for it or wishing for it or, you know, um, hoping that it just falls in your lap. It's not going to fall in your lap. You have to go get it. So I help men become the type of men that can go get what they want.
Nice. And what would you say? It's more about the strategy, or it's about techniques, or something else? Like, what's the main thing?
I would say the core of it, the core of it is your confidence, your self-assurance, owning your masculinity, because in order to create attraction, there has to be like this polarity. There has to be this electricity. So if you're not masculine, if you're not polarizing when you communicate to the woman, that's why a lot of guys they find themselves in the friend zone or find themselves attracting women who are more dominant than them, who wear the pants in a relationship because they're not owning their masculinity. They're being too passive, too soft, too shy, too nice. And I used to be like that, so I know what that's like. So I tell them like, no, you have to learn to be a man. Be assertive. Get clear on what you want. What are the not we're attracted to women when their beauty, but what are the non-physical traits you're looking for in a woman? So now you can qualify the woman. So now you can lead her. So now you can walk away from her if she doesn't meet your requirements. So now you become more masculine. You become more sharp, more discipline, more you have more integrity. There's more conviction there. She could feel your energy, and now you become more attractive to women. So it's more about the core qualities of what's attractive in a man. That masculinity, that assertiveness, that dominance, that confidence, that discipline, that focus, knowing exactly what you want. So it's more about that. I think techniques and stuff like you can do that, but from my experience, you don't need it. If you're truly confident in who you are, if you want authentic relationships, you don't want to be doing techniques and all this stuff because it's kind of being a little manipulative, and manipulation is a two-way street. If you're being manipulated, you're opening yourself up to be manipulated. So just be authentic. Now it's not easy to be authentic because now you have to put yourself on the line, but that's what it means to be a man. A man's willing to put himself out there and he can deal with the rejection if he gets rejected.
So, what piece of advice would you give to someone who is actually struggling with confidence based on, the previous experiences? Maybe, he tried so many times, been rejected, didn't make success out of it. So, what piece of advice would you give for them?
Yeah, I have a lot of advice, but I think the first one would be he has to look at how he's thinking, like what's going on in his mind, his subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind is creating our reality, right? So he would have to reprogram his subconscious mind. So he has to look at what thoughts are he's thinking around women, and it likely, if he's had a lot of rejection and bad experiences in the past, probably negative. So he has to get clear on what those thoughts are, and he has to reframe them with more positive thoughts, right? So maybe he has a thought of, oh, what if I approach her and she rejects me? He can change that thought with, what if I approach her and she thinks I'm sexy as fuck? What if I approach her and she thinks I'm amazing? What if I approach her and it's amazing conversation? Focus more on the positive thought. The problem is we focus on negative. And I used to be like this too. Oh, what if I look stupid? What if what if I get embarrassed? Like, and don't get me wrong, those it still comes up, but the positive thoughts are louder in my head. Like, oh, what if it works out? Even if I do get rejected, man, I have some big balls for approaching her. See, I have these positive thoughts, these positive beliefs that help me to take action instead of these negative beliefs of, oh, but what if it doesn't work out or what? So I would say to them, look at the thoughts that you're thinking and learn to reframe them with more empowering thoughts that will motivate them to take action.
And what are the benefits of working with someone like you in comparison to maybe like just trying to work it out on themselves?
Yeah, so if you do it on your own, it's extremely difficult because our subconscious mind is 95% and our conscious mind is 5% of our mind, right? So your old programming and old beliefs are 95% of your mind. So if you're trying to overcome those thoughts and beliefs with 5% of your conscious mind, it's going to be very difficult. Very difficult. That's the truth. So in order to do that on your own, you're gonna have to be super disciplined, like it's super disciplined, because you're gonna have to keep fighting every day to overcome the 95%. Now, if you have a coach, the coach can motivate you, inspire you, remind you why you're doing this, hold you accountable. Like you have that extra accountability, and then when you invest in a coach, plus you're investing your money, so now you're extra invested. So it highly increases your ability to be successful and stay committed because there's a commitment that's necessary to make the change, right? And to do it on your own, it can be done on your own, but it's very difficult. I try to do it on my own, and for the most part, I did do it on my own, but I had to get some coaches too because it was extremely difficult to override your old subconscious programming. So basically, getting a coach, it helps you speed up the process. It helps you increase the chances of being successful because there's going to be more commitment, more skin in the game. And then you have someone who's like, I know where you're going, and like they're shining the light. Like, look, remember where you're going. Like, this is that you're gonna get there. Plus, they're showing you whenever you run into an obstacle, here's how you overcome it. Instead of you trying to figure it out on your own, oh shit, how do I do this? How do I do that? He's like, hey, here's how you do it. So that's the value of having a coach. And that's why I coach, because I know how difficult it is to do it on your own. So I'm like, yo, you don't have to walk by yourself, I can guide you on this path. So
Nice. And if someone wants to actually learn more about you, connect to you, or maybe even work with you, like how they can do that?
I'm on Facebook. So if they search Trey Morgan on Facebook, they'll be able to find me. I'm on Instagram, Throned Trey. If they search Throned Trey, ThronedTrey, they'll find me on there. I have a podcast on Spotify called The Masculine Throne. I'm on TikTok, Ice Trey Game, ICETREYGAME. And am I anywhere else? No, those are the main. Yeah, those are the main places they'll find me.
Totally, yeah. I mean, I can share some of the links in the description of this episode for sure. And then on top of that, just before we close this episode, if there is any question maybe I didn't ask you, if there is any piece of advice you would like to share with the audience, maybe you can share it now.
Yeah, so the advice would be when it comes to dating and relationships and women and stuff like that, we think that we need to do all these extra things to attract a good relationship, like, oh, I need to make a certain amount of money, oh, I need to get in amazing shape, oh, I need to do all these things. You should do those things, but you shouldn't do it for the woman. You should be doing it for yourself. You can attract a woman who sees you growing and evolving and she wants to come on the ride for you. A lot of guys think I need to wait until I'm perfect to get a woman. And I don't even know if there's ever a time where you'll be perfect. Like you just need to be moving forward. Now, as you're moving forward, that energy of someone going somewhere, that's very attractive. Like the woman wants to come on a ride with you. So a lot of guys make the excuse like, oh no, I need to get my money up first. I need to do this first. I need to do that first. Yeah, you should be doing that, but while you're doing that, you can still go and meet some women. And it's better to find a woman who is attracted to who you are as opposed to a woman who's attracted to what you have. You know what I mean? You don't want a woman that's only there because, oh yeah, he got the money or he got this, like because then, if somebody else with more money comes, she'll leave, or or if she uses you up, then she'll leave. But you want to attract a woman who is attracted to your character. So focus on that. Focus on being you authentically, expressing that, and knowing that the woman who's right for you, she's going to be attracted to that, and a woman who's not right for you, she won't be attracted to that. But that's good. You don't want a woman that's there for the wrong reason. So just be authentic and be clear on what you want, and forget about playing these games and doing all this extra stuff. Like, focus on authenticity, right? And you'll attract an authentic relationship.
Wonderful. Trey, thank you so much for being a guest today and sharing your knowledge and your story as well and giving some of the tips. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. If you did, drop us a like, subscribe, and also comment below. Share it with your friends and family, and see you all in the next episode. All the best and bye bye.